This is Gregory Shelton with Historic Living, Modern World. Today I'm in one of my favorite places on earth, Mount Harmon Plantation in Cecil County, Maryland, not far from where I live. It's a beautiful place. It's a historic house and grounds. We're going to get a private tour from the group, and I cannot wait to show you how beautiful it is.
Hello, Greg.
Hello, Robin. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much.
Welcome to Mount Harmon.
Thank you. It looks beautiful as ever. The sun's out. It's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day, and I am so excited to share all the beauty that we have in store from Mount Harmon. We're going to go way back in time. We're going to go back to 1606, and we're going to talk about Captain John Smith, who we know from Jamestown and from the story of Pocahontas. 1606 to 1608, Captain John Smith sailed up the Chesapeake Bay, and he sailed up the Sassafras River, and he had interactions on this property with the Takwa Indians. We know this because he went back to England and he published writings that discussed his interactions with the Takwa Indians and discussed his travels on the Chesapeake Bay. So now we're going to jump to 1638, when a ship from Sweden called the Kalmar Nickel comes to Delaware. On board is a gentleman named Godfrey Harmon. And in the 1650s, the second Lord Baltimore is giving out property, and he gives Godfrey Harmon 350 acres. And that's what we are standing on. Godfrey Harmon sells off 50 acres, rents out the other 300 acres, and he never steps foot on the property. But we have kept his name because he was our first owner. So that is why we are Mount Harmon. We got a designated port down there. We are getting imports and exports with England during this time period. We need a designated port, the king says. So we have a port, which is now where our prize house is, which is a very important place. It's where the tobacco was rolled down the hill and onto the waiting ships. But if you imagine coming across the Atlantic Ocean and coming up the Chesapeake Bay and up the Sassafras River, it truly felt like you were going to the end of the world. And old maps actually say at World's End where our designated port is. So that's how we got the name Mount Harmon at World's End.
It's wonderful to know that because I have a lot of people asking me that, and I knew that the story was really strong and it's historic and it's something that makes this place, right?
That's exactly right. So now you know.
Robin, could you tell me about this beautiful brick facade?
Absolutely. So the house was built in the 1730s. The brick that you're looking at is the original brick, and It was made here on the property. We are under the impression that there was a builder by the name of William Ward who built the house. There is documentation that shows there was a large brick structure on the property in the 1730s. So our understanding is we have a William Ward who was a builder who was responsible for the creation of this beautiful Georgian manor, the Georgian manor, King George. We have symmetry and balance. Right. Fold it in half,
would be
open
Georgian,
it up.
right?
That would be Georgian.
Right.
So if you fold it in half, you'll see the same on both sides.
And I'm seeing the bricklaying structure. Are we looking at a Flemish bond or an English bond, or a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. Flemish is correct.
Beautiful.
So we can talk more about our benefactor who helped restore the inside, but what you're looking at right now is original to the 1730s.
It's just beautiful, and I have to imagine being out in the middle of nowhere at World's End to be able to put together an architectural gem like this is a big feat.
It is. It is.
It's just stunning. It's one of the most beautiful country houses that America has to offer. As far
We
as I'm
think so.
Can we see the inside?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
After you, please. So beautiful in here.
It is. It is. Wow. The first thing we're going to talk about is the wallpaper.
Okay.
So this is hand painted in Hong Kong, custom made for this house. It goes all the way up to the 3rd floor, and hand painted wallpaper from Hong Kong was actually a thing in the 18th century.
So you would place your order and they would send it back with the perfect measurements, or would it be fit to the house?
It was custom made for your house. And if you look, you can see the squares
Yes.
So you can imagine it was put together somewhat like a puzzle.
Man, it's so beautiful. And I noticed there's a beautiful kind of a silver sheen on that. Is that any information on how that was painted, or was it just basic use of hand painting skill sets, I guess?
It is a metallic backing, and that is what helps preserve the paint that you can see so clearly. So would you like to see the dining room?
I absolutely would.
Okay. Step into the dining room. In here we have Hepplewhite furniture, which is more of the straight leg with the dark wood and the inlay.
Gotcha. So you're looking at a mahogany with a lighter satin wood, finish around the sides.
And all the way down the legs, you can see the beautiful inlay.
Wow. How tough is that to make? Beautiful.
Beautiful on the sideboards as well. Beautiful.
So the owner really wanted to show off that style because every piece of furniture has that inlay, and there's the different types of wood that's used, and
absolutely
so beautiful.
Absolutely. And what you're looking at is authentic 18th century furniture in this room, as in all the rooms.
Okay.
And one of the things I like to point out, that's one of my favorite things, these are tea caddies, and we all know the story of tea in the 18th century, but these are special tea caddies. These are paper quilled, gold leafed over a sandalwood box. So if you don't know about paper quilling, it's little strips of paper that you curl into intricate designs. So that is a very intricate work of art with all the detail in there.
We have a friend that's a paper quiller, and I know the daintiness and the toughness it is to even make a little piece of jewelry. So to look at that is really stunning.
Indeed, one of my favorite pieces in the house, and I think it's a very unique piece. So after dinner, which would be at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the ladies would withdraw from the dining room into the drawing room, which is how it got its name.
Makes sense, right?
It's also the parlor. So we'll all withdraw into the drawing room at this time. And now we have Chippendale furniture, a lot of the ball and claw and the paw feet, with the exception of this very special table. Another one of my favorite pieces. It is from the Isle of Man. And it has human legs, as you can see.
I have to say, Robin, as a vintage British motorcycle fan, the Isle of Man is one of the most dangerous motorcycle races in the world. It still is, and I've never seen a table like that. How did you guys acquire that table?
Well, we're going to have to jump ahead to the 1960s, and we're going to talk about Mrs. Bowden, who was our benefactor. She was a DuPont by birth, so she had those funds available to her. And in the 1960s, we were having a colonial revival, getting ready for the big bicentennial. So Mrs. Bowden was looking for a project to do. She found out she was related to the family that lived here at Mount Harmon from 1760 into the 1800s.
Wow.
So she was very excited to bring this house back to life with furnishings that would look like it did when her ancestors lived here from the 1760s to the 1800s.
And the great thing is the people that come to Mount Harmon get to learn about it, but they get to see the things they would have had. And without her help, you wouldn't have this furniture here at this level, right?
Absolutely. So now I'm going to talk to you about, I talked to you about the brother in the other room. Now we're going to talk about the older brother.
Wow, very similar, right?
Right, very similar. This is Sidney George Fisher. He was the oldest of the three brothers. He inherited this house when he was 25.
Wow.
He was a lawyer in Philadelphia, and this was the country house. He loved coming here to Mount Harmon. He loved it much more than being in Philadelphia. And he wrote journals and diaries, very detailed journals and diaries. And because of those, Mrs. Bowden was able to get a lot of the information to find out how to make this house look like it did when her ancestors lived here.
Well, we know that historic houses in our area, Maryland, Delaware, PA, there's so much history, but without that literature, you're kind of running around blind. That's almost like an amazing find to be able to furnish this place, right?
I told you he was important.
Right, and his family's very important, right?
Now you know why.
Wonderful, which is why he has graced the picture above the mantle, right?
Something else special about that picture, that is an original Thomas Sully portrait. He was a famous artist in Philadelphia.
Wonderful. It makes sense because of the wealth that he would have had even to have and manage this house or have the money to paint that. So wonderful. So I love this drawing room. What's next?
We're going to go upstairs.
Okay.
Follow me. Now you'll notice the steps are made in the fashion they would be in the 18th century for the ladies to be able to have their wide skirts. Come into the game room.
Another beautifully spacious room for entertaining.
It is. So the first thing I will tell you is that we have National Revolutionary War reenactments here every 2 years. We just had one this past May. And when we have those, we have Revolutionary War reenactors who look like me filling up this room, playing games, and when you walk through the house, you feel like you just stepped into the 1700s.
And I have to say, I've been to several of them. It's like no other experience you could ever imagine. The house is beautiful when it's going on. The tours are amazing. And just to talk to those guys really makes a difference. Very, very cool.
It is. So we have some game tables set up.
Okay.
18th century game tables. So we see cards. Now, do you notice anything different about these playing cards?
There's no numbers on them.
There are no numbers on them. Do you know why?
Because people couldn't read.
Correct. That is absolutely right. Because not everyone could read.
And they don't want to put anyone out that may
That's
not
exactly
be able to
right.
read.
They wanted it to be a fun game for everybody. And
They may be able to count, but they can't read, right?
That is correct.
Gotcha.
And the game pieces, mother of pearl game pieces, are counters. So games like Loo and Whist were popular. But we have some wonderful 18th century game tables as examples of what they would have played back then. So you can see this gorgeous table for checkers. And they did play checkers.
Lovely. So Robin, I noticed there's a lot of Chinese-inspired decor here in the house, furniture and things. What would it have to be like to be able to bring this back from China? And what was the idea behind that?
Well, that would be a popular sign of wealth.
Gotcha.
In the 18th century, because it was a long way to bring something back all the way from China at that time. So the wealthy people would have a lot of Asian influence.
Gotcha. And it would show off the ability to travel there, right? And it would show off that they were able to afford to go to other countries and bring a little piece of that country back, right?
Correct. Welcome to our beautiful Widow's Walk rooftop viewing at Mount Harmon. You have a 360-degree view that is absolutely stunning.
I have to say, Robin, when you're on the ground, it's stunning, but there's no way it can top what we're seeing now. You have the water, you have the countryside of just a beautiful greenery, the water, it couldn't get better. The chimneys are beautiful. This to me is a Georgian manor house, right?
It is, and out there we have the Sassafras River.
Okay.
And then down there, in that direction, is our prize house, which is still there, and it has workings inside of it of what it would have looked like when it was actually compressing tobacco into the hogshead barrels.
Gotcha. So really tobacco is what we're looking at as the main source of income for the family at that time.
That's where it started in the early 1700s as a tobacco plantation, but there was a period of time that they realized tobacco was depleting the soil. So then they switched over to growing wheat and other crops.
Gotcha.
And even places like Mount Vernon realized that tobacco was depleting the soil. So it was happening everywhere. Well, we have memberships that allow our members to use the dock, which is down there, for kayaks and canoes and non-motorized vehicles, boats. But it is an absolute glorious place that you can see, is a beautiful place that you can enjoy both on the water and off.
So you're telling me you could park your car here, do a tour, maybe eat lunch here, launch your boat and have the rest of your day to yourself.
Absolutely, and you can see down there, there's a car down there right now, so somebody is taking advantage of that.
Robin, how do I become a member?
Well, you can sign up online, or you can come here in person when we're open for tours, May 1st through October 31st, Thursday through Sunday. From 10 until 2, we do tours every hour on the hour, and we cannot wait to get you signed up.
Can I do it now?
Yes, let's go.
Let's do it. Robin, this is one of the most beautiful homes I've ever been in. Thank you very much for making the time to give me a tour. How do I learn more about the home?
Go online to mountharmon.org and you'll see all about how to become a member, all about our special events, and all about the wonderful things that we do here. And I am so happy to share it with your viewers. Thank you so much for coming.
I appreciate it. I cannot wait to become a member for me and my family. It's a great decision. I can't wait to take advantage of it. Have a wonderful day. It's very nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
Thank you for giving me such a wonderful tour.
Thank you for coming.
I got to tell you, I had a wonderful time. Mount Harmon is a special place. There's a link in the description for you to learn more. Become a member. I did. It's a wonderful place and you're going to love it. If you like what you've seen today, make sure you click like and subscribe, and make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram. This is Gregory Shelton from Historic Living Modern World, reminding you whenever you do something, always work to move people. Cheers.